Some school districts offer free breakfast to all students before school in order to increase participation rates in the school breakfast program. Others are moving this free breakfast from the cafeteria into the classroom, where it's served to all children at the start of the school day. This model, known as breakfast in the classroom, provides breakfast to students within the first 10 minutes of class time, and all children eat breakfast together with their teachers. Some have argued that this approach decreases instructional time and may have a negative impact on academic achievement. Others fear that students will eat two breakfasts, one at home and another in the classroom, putting them at risk for obesity. However, recent studies have shown the opposite, that breakfast in the classroom actually has a positive impact on student health and achievement. Dr. Amy Ellen Schwartz and her colleagues at New York University recently concluded a large-scale study of children who were exposed to breakfast in the classroom.
What our results tell us is that there's no evidence that breakfast in the classroom increases childhood obesity. We see nothing like that. We see some evidence that it might actually decrease obesity, decrease BMI. So that's really striking. We also looked at a bunch of other outcomes of breakfast in the classroom. We looked at the impact on attendance. We find that breakfast in the classroom potentially has a little bit of an effect on attendance in the sense that it might improve attendance. We see maybe a teeny bit of evidence that it will have a positive effect on academic performance and engagement in school. So I think from the point of view of parents, this is again a happy story. If breakfast in the classroom comes to your school, this is something you should be supportive of and embrace.
Doctors Imberman and Kugler also recently conducted a study of breakfast in the classroom and found a positive relationship between breakfast in the classroom and student achievement. It especially benefited Hispanic students, students who were previously low-performing, and students with lower than average BMI.
What we found is very positive. We found that bringing breakfast into the classroom in a large urban school district in the Southwest allowed children to improve their performance. They increased performance in math and they increased their performance in reading, this in terms of test scores. So this is extremely promising. In fact, something that we found, we gathered data from the school district to find out, well, did this actually even increase the cost for the school district? And what we found is that actually serving the breakfast in the classroom decreased the cost as opposed to providing this breakfast in the cafeteria. It was cheaper for them to actually move the breakfast into the classroom.
Despite this cost savings, some critics worry that breakfast in the classroom is a burden for teachers and other school staff. However, Dr. Charles Basch of Columbia University reviewed several studies of school breakfast and concluded that this concern is unfounded.
It turns out that implementing breakfast in the classroom is not a difficult program to implement, despite the fact that sometimes people think it might be before they try it. But in efforts to do so, it's been very successful and shown to be acceptable to the different participants in schools and feasible to implement.
These studies are encouraging, but there's still much to understand. How does breakfast in the classroom affect health and learning in the long run? Does bringing children together for breakfast build peer relationships or a positive school culture? Are there any negative consequences to breakfast in the classroom? Despite these unanswered questions, this initial body of evidence suggests that offering the school breakfast program for free to all children within the classroom may be highly beneficial for students' health and ability to learn.